Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. All backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Altar Call. I am your host Tane, here to talk about Couples Therapy Season 5, Episode 2. Here with me, as always, when it comes to couples therapy is Jenn. Hi Jenn, how are you?
I am up and early and ready to go this morning. Welcome to everybody from Indonesia, from Bali. We're gonna get this day started right.
Yes, as always, since Jen is still over in the other continent of Asia, we have like a 12 hours, right? Difference
Yep.
between us. So, we're making it work. But we get a cold open with this episode, starting with Sienna and Chris. If you recall, Chris is the one who looks like a Hell's Angel. He's tattooed from head, literally, to toe. And his wife is, how do I describe her? The high-strung wife who seems checked out and just like, yeah, I have a husband, but I don't even recognize that he's there.
That's them.
So yeah, we get a cold open with Chris telling Orna that I'm sorry. I described.
There we go. That was Jason.
That was Jason. Still learning the couples, guys. So sorry. This couple is the couple that were 13 years married. Chris cheated on Sienna and they're working through it. He's the one who paid people to cuddle and that led to cheating. So sorry. That's a different couple. So we're back on track.
Yes, she's the one that I so rudely call Rachel Dolezal.
Yes. So yes, third time's the charm. We get a cold open with Chris telling Orna that he has an idea why he betrayed Sienna. But for it to make sense, he has to hear more about his childhood. And I cackled because Jen had mentioned in episode 1 how he just seems to be so eager to talk about his childhood.
Yeah. And yeah, this kid.
Orna says, yes, I didn't want to ask immediately. I just wanted to spend more time with you guys just to know how to approach that. And Chris is like, I'm very open. Listen, we can dive in if she wants. And Orna says, yes, I'm sure you are very open. But what does it do for you to dive right in? And it just felt like Chris wants to control the narrative. Chris wants to control this bus called therapy.
Yes. Which I think a lot of people do. They get in there and they're like, no, this person is not going to tell me anything that I don't already know. And I think he gives me I don't remember that guy's name. There was one couple and I see him on clips a lot on TikTok where he was just a jerk. And he was the one that always owner would be like, ooh, you sound kind of negative right now. And he's all, no, I don't. I don't remember his name. It's just so rude. A lot if you look at the TikToks.
Yeah, there's so many seasons and you could apply to any of them. So most recent for 4 for me would be Boris, but yeah. So, he said that it made him scared because when his mom passed, he had a nightmare for 2 years that she was coming for him. And Sienna turns to him because I saw it. I saw that he was having an actual physical reaction. I wasn't sure if they were going to talk about it, but Sienna is like, I can see that you're having a physical reaction. Your veins are popping. You're turning very red. And he's like, well, yeah, maybe that's why I want to talk about it, to kind of exercise it from myself and purge myself of it. And I hope I'm not being harsh. I don't know what you think, but something about all of this came off as disingenuous to me.
It was very much a departure from last week, where last week Sienna, she was kind of calm, and then once the infidelity
She,
came out, she
yeah.
had a really strong reaction to it, and then she went back to being like super attentive and super sweet and all of that. And I think your read on that last week was maybe they're both disassociated, and I don't know, it felt weird to me to be like, how am I taking care of you when I'm hurt too? But she seemed to be on top of it and attentive to his feelings, so which makes me more annoyed at him for being, not equally attentive back to her. I don't know, it was annoying.
But what do you agree or disagree with my feeling of him being disingenuous?
Yeah, I think he's doing this. I think he wants to be the center of the show. I think he wants to be the pay attention to me, like my stuff is bigger than your stuff, and this is just the Chris show. So yes, I agree on that.
Okay. So then we see Orna telling Virginia about, for those who don't know or who are new to the show, Virginia is the person she bounces things off. It's not her peer, but I think, would you say Virginia ranks higher than
Yeah,
her, or
I
it's just her
think
therapist?
I don't know if she's a therapist or maybe like a mentor, because I think sometimes, the idea that a therapist knows everything is
Hmm.
not true. So I like that they have Virginia there to show that like Orna's not perfect and she's got blind spots and she's got things she's got to work off of. And so she's not her boss, but I guess I would call her a mentor, where she
Yeah.
gets stuck on things and she's like, I'm not sure if I'm doing this right. And Virginia gives her that clarification, which I love.
Yeah. So she's bouncing things off her and telling her about Chris's eagerness to talk about his childhood. And she says that she wants to know him better and actually wants him in the present first before he goes back to his childhood. Virginia says she agrees that it would be too soon and too easy, and it wouldn't be right if they go straight to their childhood. And I think it's also like what we were talking about last episode, where it's like the new, not the new world, because the world has kind of been the same, but we've, as a collective, as humans, the world has gone through a very quick transition or change. And now we're in a world where there's a lot of therapy speak. And I
Yeah.
think Chris has probably heard a lot of like, everything stems from your childhood. Your childhood is because of this. And he's trying to like fast track that
Yes. And it's also,
into,
yeah, and it's also his cover. Like, oh, I can't possibly be a terrible person just because I'm a terrible person. There's a reason for it. Like, this is based on my
yeah.
childhood. Like, it's not just that I'm a jerk who was upset that the woman that paid so much attention to me went back to work and now I need attention. It couldn't be that simple. It has to be something rooted in something bigger.
Yeah, because remember last episode he said, "Is it true? Am I really a sociopath?" I was like, "Well, your wife calls you, what is it, demon shark eyes? Like, I don't know, maybe something to it." Um,
Maybe.
we get a glimpse into their home life. We see their three kids. I don't know why in my brain they were little kids, but their first kid, their son, seems to be like at the very least 12. Well, they're 13 years married and they got
Yeah.
pregnant 6 months after, so that
Yeah.
tracks.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So Orna shares that, they came in with a recent discovery that he had multiple paid cuddling sessions, which answers the question that I had last week. Because I was like, was he an employee or the employer? Like, was he paying? What was happening? But, he was the one paying people for cuddling sessions. And Virginia is like, well, if he loves her so much, and says like he's drawing a blank as to why he did something this enormous, it's quite unconvincing. And I'm like, yes, Virginia, I am with you.
Yeah.
This don't make no sense. So Orner asked them, can we talk about the background story? We're back to Sienna and Chris, the background story of the betrayals. And I found that interesting. Like, my first thought is to say the cheating, the infidelity, like, but the use of the word betrayals is interesting. I don't know why, but it is.
And maybe, I think Orna's good at like, let me match your language, because
Yeah.
Chris uses big words. I think the one that stuck to me last week was annihilate, when he talked about I'm
Mhm.
annihilating Sienna. So maybe she's finding she's got to use bigger words. She can't say infidelity, sounds too soft, but
Mhm.
betrayal, which is really how Sienna is receiving it, sounds real. So I think maybe using a language that mirrors the situation and mirrors a language that Chris can understand feels good, feels comfortable.
Yeah. So he says that he was trying to create a situation where they liked him. That would be they is the cuddlers, where they liked him and they thought he was a good person and thought that he was interesting. And Sienna's like, yeah, sure, okay. But then I saw pictures of all the women that you cuddled with, and they were young and they were hot and they were big breasted women, just 22 to 30. And she's 42, she kind of feels old. He doesn't say anything reassuring, anything
No.
countering, or saying like, no, like, you look great, like, it's not about that. I just, let's go with the story he's crafting. I just wanted them to think I was good or whatever. This man just says, yeah. And
Ugh,
I'm like, what?
infuriating. I think we talked last week about, what would you do? How would you feel if your partner wanted to travel without you?
Yeah.
So my question to you is, how would you feel if your husband's like, hey, babe, I'm going to use some of our shared resources to pay and cuddle with some other women. You cool? Like, how did
That's
that conversation
insane.
go?
Exactly. Well, he didn't tell her. That's part of the issue. I mean, we're going to get into the conversation, but he didn't tell her. She just found out because I think Orna says it was a recent discovery that, he did that. And I'm just I, cuddling. I just, I don't know. I don't think I would know what to say. I'd be like, if you need a hug or you need to cuddle, come on down, my arms are open. So what makes this so strange is the fact that he doesn't have a wife that resents him. He has a wife that loves him so much in spite of himself, and that's what's so puzzling, but we'll get there. He says that he didn't go into it to engage in something sexual, but when it was offered, he said, all right. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I think that he knew that this was going to be the end game eventually. It's like, places where you go get a massage and someone's like, just tell them you are tense down there and they'll know what to do. He had to have had a recommendation or something, but this was always end game for him. Like, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'm not gonna chase it, but if it does, then, like, what was the goal of being cuddled? I forget him saying he wants to feel like a good guy. I don't know what that is.
I don't, and yeah, it's a slippery slope. Like I can't imagine. And again, I live in Asia, and there's a ton of massage shops here, and you could clearly tell which ones are like, "Oh, we're here to massage you," and which ones are like, "We're here to massage you." Like if she's wearing high heels, she's probably not there to just be a trained masseuse. So I don't know. And I think to Sienna's point, like the women he was picking were very specific. So I
Yes.
don't, it's not like I just wanted to feel safe or I'm looking for something to fill whatever.
Yes.
This is definitely like a oops, I hired a bikini person to clean my pool and oh, so weird that that happened. It just feels like you put yourself in a situation where yeah, you opens too many doors there, sir.
I was laughing. I was like the beginning of a porno.
Yes.
Oh, come fix my plumbing. Oh, I did just thought you were gonna fix this and give me a hug, but
Right?
you
Oop,
just happen to be big breasted. Oh, you're
exactly.
young. You're hot. Who am I to say no?
Right.
It's
And
just
my guess is
silly.
there's a profile. Like I'm sure he specifically
Specifically,
selected. It
yeah,
wasn't just like, oh, this happened to be the person I got assigned. He picked these people on purpose. And no offense to Miss Sienna, but she's not big chested. So I
yeah.
think if you're going to pay for something, I don't know. It doesn't feel good and it doesn't feel traditional. Like I think you could, if you truly just wanted a cuddle session, there's a way to handle it that was not A, hiding it from your wife, and B, picking somebody that you would be tempted by.
I don't know about you, but I think the only way to handle it is ask your wife to cuddle. What?
Well, yeah, there's 100 other things he could have done other than this. But if we're here, let's figure out how this could have worked better, sir.
She, yeah. So, Sienna says, and sorry, I wanted to add that that's another betrayal. I guess is the fact that he picked people that clearly have an opposite physical trait than she has, than she is. So Sienna says it's concerning that he was able to put a lot of common sense aside to fulfill this. Orna's like, what do you mean? And Sienna is like, for lack of a better word, you have a wife who is as open as a pair of French doors. And I'm like, okay, Sienna. Like, she's like, you can do anything. You can ask for anything. And it's not like it's not going to happen. And you still chose to do this. And again, that's the other layer. This is like a, what is it? Is it a shepherd's pie? Whatever. Maybe let's go with the lasagna that has layers. There's so many layers to this betrayal. So maybe Orna is right with using the word betrayal, because it's like, again, if we were at odds, like we were not, at the best in our marriage and we weren't speaking, or I didn't even want you to come near me. Not doesn't make it okay, but I can understand that. But she thought she was happy.
Yes.
She was willing to do anything for him, and not just sexually, just in general in life. And still, he went and did this. So then what else can she do? Like, moving further in their marriage, how can she feel secure again?
No. And we learned from how they met is she's not a prude. Like they went back and forth about it, but essentially their introduction was something about sitting on your face, or you would look good on your face, or whatever. So she's not somebody that's not open to conversation. And again, she's so attentive to him and his feelings. If he said to her, "Hey babe, I want to, I don't know, cuddle with another woman," I think she would have been open to that conversation. Whether or not she agreed, I don't think she would have clutched her pearls and tossed him out of the house. So that again is part of the betrayal, is that she's not somebody that he can't talk to, it seems. So that's crazy.
So yeah, glad you brought that up, because something that struck me is at some point he did say, if I told her, I don't know why I kept it from her, but if I told her, she probably would have said it's okay, no problem. And I don't claim to be an expert in men's psyche, but something about her being that easygoing and open probably annoys him. Because honestly, you can give it good, you could be 100%, and they will still find something that it is. I feel like it's too good for him. Like, he needs like some challenge or something. As irrational as it sounds, I think that he just has a problem with, why am I telling you that I want to cuddle? And you're like, you know what? If that makes you feel good and makes you happy, that's fine with me. Something about that, I think, pisses him off.
Who knows? I think, what was that movie? There was a movie with one of the Judds, the younger Ashley Judd, I believe, and she was dating anyway, it doesn't matter. But the whole premise behind the movie was about men needing a new cow, and that bulls get tired of mating with the old cow, so they're always looking for the new cow. And that's kind of what this feels like. There was nothing, at least what we see so far, wrong with their relationship. She's not unattractive. She's not paying attention to you. She's not rude. She's not Marjorie. She's not combative. But he just needed something else.
Yeah, and I'm being patient that eventually he's saying a lot of things, but he still hasn't said what is the thing. Because, like Virginia said, for you to do something enormous and to cheat, and it wasn't like you cheated with someone; it was a paid service.
Right.
That's another layer. And you did that. Something drove you to do that. You have to go within and figure out what it is. What is it that you feel that you were not getting from her? So I'm waiting for that part where she feels like everything was great, but he was still missing something. And what is the thing that he thought was missing? Another thing I thought, interesting was that I thought Orna was going to ask him, when you said you wanted them to make you feel like you were a good person and you were interesting, was Sienna not making you feel like a good person? Is that what it is? Or is she too good that you're like, I don't deserve her and I'm a terrible person? Like, there are lots of things that are being unsaid, I feel.
Yeah. And I don't know. It feels like a given. Like, of course, when you meet somebody new, you're going to be the most interesting person. The person that Sienna's heard your stories 100 times. And so when you tell this new person a story, it's going to sound new and interesting, and you're going to appear new and interesting. So yes, there's always going to be a level of excitement when you're with somebody new. And so this isn't unique, Chris. Like, you didn't corner the market on this one thing. This is what happens when you meet somebody, when you step outside of your relationship. Is, yes, initially it's going to feel new.
Yeah,
Idiot.
but
Idiot.
it's paid. So
Well,
if that's all I'm saying, if it was someone random or whatever, yes, it's like fresh. You don't have the responsibilities and everything. But when it's a paid service, you are paying them to find you interesting. So it's not genuine.
oh, they don't care about that. They just want to feel what they feel.
Anyways.
You have to be authentic.
So she says that in the past, when he gets overwhelmed, he has been aggressive, and she has learned to quiet herself to not awaken the beast. And she has felt that sadness for 13 years. And she feels resentment because he did her dirty and changed her to his worst nightmare by dimming her light. And she wonders, what if she left at year 2, year 5, year 8? And then she wonders, why didn't she leave? Because she deserves to be with someone who was nice. And my two things from what she said was, I think last week we were trying to decide when it happened. This is what made me think that he cheated in year 2, because that happened then. I mean, I'm still a little confused because she's talking about the aggressiveness, the dead shark eyes, but I assume that happened before year 2, and year 2 is the cheating. But also, I'm still a little uneasy about the way she's very calm or casual when she talks about this aggressiveness.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. It just makes me very uneasy when she talks about it. Like when you say he's not being nice, when he's aggressive, what are we saying? Is he punching holes in a wall? Is he smashing plates? Is he like, again, he said annihilate. It came from him.
Yeah.
What is a scenario? Is Orna going to ask them, or because it's on TV, they don't want to bring any risk? Like, can you describe the worst of what this aggressiveness and dead shark eyes and disassociating and being really mean and annihilating her, what does that entail? What does that look like?
Yeah. And I can't imagine what it's like to be Orna in that room. And probably she's thinking what you're thinking is, what piece do I need to break down now? Like, what is the piece that I need to focus on right now? Because you can't unpack all 17 of those things all at once. And of course, we're not seeing the full hour, but yeah, you're right. There's so many things to unpack, and unfortunately we're victims of the edit to see where they want to lead the story. But I would be surprised if at some point they don't deep tackle that stuff.
Yeah. So that's it for them. I will take a break and we'll be right back.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.
Okay, we are back with Shay and Clinton. These two, man, they must give Orna nightmares. Like, this is work. This is work that she has to do. We are getting a montage of their time together. I guess happier times on vacation, doing things together, and we get photo booth pictures and just pictures over time. Then they come in and we hear that they have not spoken in 4 days, and this is the first time they are seeing each other. I'm just glad that, they both showed up for therapy, even though they haven't spoken in 4 days. Shay says that they had a massive argument on Friday, and Orner stops to ask Clinton about it because he's on the far end of the couch, as far away from Shay as possible, and he's stimming, like he's looking away and he's just like fidgety, and he says he doesn't want to talk about it. And he's so fucking tired of talking about it, and he told her he would pay her. This sounds like this is calm, but I'm going to do my best to say exactly how he said it. He was just like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, I'm so fucking tired of talking about it. And I told her I will pay her. I'm saying that to give context to the tension in the room.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Shay is like pretty damn pissed and is just trying to get her story out. But then there's a whole, very visibly, Clinton is not with it at all. And when he does talk, he sounds childlike and he's kind of whining. And this is a good way that portrays their relationship. Like, Shay can't speak because it's like, if you have a kid who's throwing a tantrum and you're in public, you're going to want to have to like placate the kid and try to calm them down. And then, you pay attention to the baby that's crying and leave the toddler because, okay, they should be okay. And it's basically, I think, a portrayal of what their relationship is.
Yeah, which I said it last week, is just, it's this caregiver situation, and it's not healthy for either one of them. And it's not serving either one of them in a productive way. It's just, everybody wants to be, they both want to be heard. They both want to feel valued. And it's tough to take care of you and take care of me at the same time.
Yeah. So Clinton sighs and he's like, I'm sorry. Orna says, how are you feeling sitting here? He says he's anxious, he's nervous, he's angry, and he's frustrated. And Orna asks, okay, what do you need to enter a listening mode? Because Shay has to get it out. Clinton says maybe water and grabs one of the Saratoga bottles of water that's on the table. Shay is always careful with her words and is just like saying this very, what's the word? I went blank on the word, but she's eloquent. There you go. She's very eloquent and is very careful with her words, says that Clinton has had issues with their finances and she has tried to show him how to handle it better. And she says that she paid off all his credit cards to start afresh. And I'm like, I'm sorry, like,
what?
Your own money?
What?
Or like you showed him a payment plan, or what are we saying? Because what? Also, what does Shay do? Do we know?
Yeah, I don't know, but I need that job because, and I don't know what level of debt he had, but to just pay it off. Again, it's the, she said last week, like, I'm his only resource. And that's a huge thing. If you're not just his emotional resource and his, intimate partner, but you're also his financial resource, that's unequal.
Yeah, it is. So Clinton starts shaking his head and saying half the story is missing, all in the whiny voice. And then he says, I paid half of that. And then I lost my job a month after that. And he wanted to take care of it on his own. But afterwards, he re-racked the cards. I'm like, oh God, this story is not ending well. Shay says that they needed to get him a new bed because she's too big to sleep on a twin bed. And he wanted her to spend more time in his place. So he told him that if he wants to pay her back for the bed, he can put it on her account and then he'll just pay her back little by little. Instead, my man's bought him a 60-inch TV and a video game for $180, all on her credit without asking her. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's and I don't know if we can chuck this up to his diagnosis. Like, I think stealing is stealing. And if I take something from you without your permission, I don't know if that's acceptable in a relationship. And again, he's generally pretty clear with his feelings. And so I kind of wish that Orna dug deep into the why this happened, but you can't. There's too much going on between these two to figure out why he did it. But it would be helpful for Shay maybe, because I don't know if she asked, and it would be interesting to know his thought process as to why that was okay, and to give him some clarity as to why that wasn't okay, because I don't know if he thinks it wasn't.
He did. He said it's not okay. He says he's upset because they've talked about it. He said he was sorry. He says in his mind they're moving in together, so he's doing it for them. All he had to do was a quick phone call or a quick text, so I'm not sure. He says he knows it wasn't okay. And Orna was like, why can't you allow room for her to be mad? And Shay says, because I'm not allowed to express myself. And Clinton loses it. Clinton is like, no, no, no. And then he slaps his hands on his knees. And Orna is like, what is the issue? And he's like, I don't know. I'm really overwhelmed. And this is what I mean by Orna has a whole new challenge because he really needs to be addressed with kid gloves. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? We have to stop. We have to make sure he's okay. We have to get him, you know, to a level ground so that they can continue with this. And at this point, she has stopped how many times and cannot get her story out because he needs to be calmed down. So Arna asks, like, if she can guess, and he's like, fine. And she's like, does it make you feel incompetent? Does it make you feel shame? And he says, yes. And he says he doesn't always have the words all the time, but he feels like he's being looked down upon, like he can't take care of things. A little part of me was like, maybe accepting that, yes, you can't take care of things because past history has shown that is easier than trying to prove that you can take care of things and then messing up. Because on the flip side, which I'm hoping Orna gets to, is like, Shay, this is kind of like a selfish reason. You like feeling needed. You are creating a situation where, you know, there's some situations where people keep doing things for others and it could be seen as selfless. And I read somewhere that sometimes people who are like too nice, it's like a form of low self-esteem. And you think like, if I do all these things, they'll think like I'm the nicest and they'll always want to be in my orbit. And but what you're creating is that people don't know who you are as a human being. They just know you as the services that you do for people.
Yeah. Oh, and my brain just went to Sienna. Like you really just kind of described Sienna in her relationship with Chris. But
Yeah.
I think they have a dynamic that, and this is the interesting thing about therapy, is that you can see the dynamics play out. Like this is what their relationship looks like outside of here. This is what their conversations look like outside of here, where Shay is not able to, she's got to manage him before she can manage whatever the issue is. But again, that why do you stay? What keeps you here? This feels so, it's exhausting to watch. I can't imagine how exhausting it is to kind of manage day to day in their relationship.
Yeah, there's so many levels to why she's staying or whatever. Like, you know, wanting to be with someone who you feel like, okay, we're on the same level or I'm on a level higher, or not being with someone else who is actually capable, but then you feel like you're the less than in the relationship, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
because they don't need to be taken care of. They know what to do. So Arna says she wants to help him listen to Shay without getting triggered. That Shay is talking about her feelings and you can make things better by listening. At this point, Shay is big mad. Like her face is stone and she's just not saying anything. But she continues and she says, like, listen, he is missing the payments. And when he misses the payment, she has to pay it. And she's an action person over words. And doing things is how she knows she's loved. Orner very carefully is like, so if that's the case, and you are landing on a place where he has trouble doing that, how does that work? Basically, why are you here, ma'am? Like, you know nothing's gonna change, right? Like you can't, like you can tell Clinton does love her. I don't doubt that he loves her, but I do feel like in some way he is limited. There's only so much he can do. Like he has to be with someone who's kind of willing to be a caretaker, but not where the caretaking is overruling the whole relationship. And there just has to be managed expectations because you can't, she's going into it with her brain like, this is how I would do things, is how on a regular level when you're with your partner you have to accept certain things because they don't do things, people in general don't do things the way you would do things, but in his case he processes things differently. So The expectations are high. And I just think Orna was saying without saying, like, you know that nothing's going to change. I could help you, but for the most part, this is what it's going to be.
And
Like,
she, and
actions.
yeah, and Shay
Go ahead.
resents that. No, Shay resents that. Like, and so I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, you resent where you are in this relationship. You resent that you're going to have to be the action person in every aspect of this. So, what is this that serves you? And I hope at some point Orna asks, we can find that out.
Yeah. Shay starts to say it wasn't always like this, but then Clinton is like, no, no, please answer her question. And then he starts sobbing. And Shay's just like, he's having a meltdown. I'm like, oh my God, this is exhausting. He says that he doesn't like disappointing her. And Orna says, like, yes, but she has to have a way to say it. But while all this is still going on, Shay still hands him a tissue. She's still in caregiver mode. Like, I have to take care of him. She says like she doesn't have space to express herself when she's upset, and no one talks about being on the other side of dating a neurodivergent person, which is true, but she went into it willingly. It's not like
Yeah.
he hid it.
Yeah, and I keep wondering about, like, they met on a dating app. Like, what dating
What?
app
Yeah.
did they meet on? Curious.
Yeah. So I don't know. So that's the thing. Because it's one thing if, you're with your partner, they get sick, and then you have to take care of them. It was a diagnosis that came, but you knew from jump that this was always the case. I still don't know how long they've been together. They didn't put it up this time. And it's like there's been times going and you chose this. So I'm not sure this. So he says, I've heard her, I hear her. And on their way out, they're standing there. He asks for a hug. And then he says, listen, I understand if you don't feel like one, that's okay. But I just think we should hug. So, I mean, there is hope because he does have he can read the room. Like, I'm not forcing you to get a hug, but it would be nice right now if we could hug. And she does hug him and then they hug. So I don't know.
That was not a good, the way she absolutely did not want to hug this man, but
Yeah.
did it anyway is so telling of their relationship. Like, there's so much that she doesn't want to do, but she does it anyway. And that's
Yeah.
not a good foundation. Like, that, I kind of, not to be mean to say I wish she hadn't hugged him, but I don't know. Like, he wanted it so sincerely, but if they're going to change their patterns, like, this is one way to change their pattern. Like, for her to stop doing things she doesn't want to do, then stop doing things you don't want to do.
But I mean, at this point, it's either you're leaving the relationship or you forgive me for doing this and we move on. Because what is going to happen? You're going to be in an impasse for how long? I don't know. You know? Orna talks to a peer who specializes in autism, and she wants to understand if she's missing something and understanding his triggers. And the peer says, like, there are hidden triggers to not being understood, like the meltdowns. And the meltdowns is a response to feeling like you are bad, and it's just a tremendous aloneness. And he responds well to her explaining. And I'm just assuming at this point that her colleague like watched the tape
Yeah, it
of the
sounds like it.
session.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah. And says that. So, and the colleague says, you can't have couples therapy with meltdowns. And I'm like, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know how this is going to happen. Oof. They're stressing our doctor this season. Okay.
This is me preaching the individual therapy. Like, this is definitely one where he's got some, and we have no idea. Like, I assume because Shay's been transitioning for 20 some odd years that she's had a good amount of therapy through all of this, but it sounds like he's had limited, or at least not any that are focused on
Yeah.
relationships, and that's what he needs.
Yeah. All right. We're going to take a break and I'll be right back. All right. Now we're talking about Marjorie and Jason. Jason is the one who's tattooed from head to toe. And Marjorie is the one who's uninterested in her partner and just wants to live her life. Okay, Marjorie is yapping on and on about, liking animals because Orna's dog is there. And she's like, I knew you'd like me because I like animals more than people. And I think Orna saw that as an opening and she's like, oh, I'm going to take this. And she's like, how about you, Jason? How do you feel about animals? She's like, I don't like animals more than people. I like animals, but I don't have a choice. We have I don't know, 5 dogs, 2 cats, or something in there. They have animals in the house, but even that they can't even agree on. They can't agree on the number of animals in the house. I'm like, how hard is that? Just count. You
But
know, there's
there
not a
must
half.
but there must be so many running around, and it feels like one of those things where she just finds one and brings him home, and he's like, whatever. It doesn't sound like there's a mutual, hey, babe, we should get another dog. It sounds like she sees something or a cat or a dog or whatever and brings it home, and he's like, okay.
He says that his sleep space is so important to him. And sometimes he comes there and the dog is just sitting there licking herself and there's a wet spot and just stuff. And he's just like, it's not for him. So they have a split king bed. And he says like he's going to start taking his bed off, put it in the closet till he's ready to sleep. Honor is saying that's a great idea. Marjorie at the same time was like, oh, you're so fucking dramatic. And also, it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And then she goes, oh, I know you're a doctor. I don't want to disrespect you. I'm like, what?
And then I think she said, are we a disaster? And I wrote, not we, sis. Not we.
Honor says, okay, let's pull from this. So Marjorie says that Jason always wants things a certain way. And like he will bitch and complain, but then he never helps. Jason says, listen, I don't do the cat litter the same way. Like to me, you do the cat litter every day. And she's like, no, it has to sit there and you do it every few days. And Honor is like stopping them and was like, okay, let's learn how to talk to each other. We don't have to say that. And Marjorie is like, if you want it scooped every day, we can rotate. I don't see you doing it, but I would appreciate it. And then she stops herself and is like, oh, I did it again. Honor is like, okay, good. What did you do again? She goes, I was mean. And she goes, okay. He says if that happens where they do it every day, he has no issue doing the rest of the days. And Honor says, you guys do this all the time where you both start saying something good, but then you devolve into something negative about, the person. Because he's basically saying, like, sure, you're not going to do it. So why am I going to waste my time? So he starts saying, like, okay, I want to do Mondays. It's going to be Monday at 7 p.m. for me. She goes, why are you so strict? Why do we have to have a day and a time? And then Honor was like, tell me about your background. And then he says, like, when he was younger, he had major anger problems when he was a kid. That, his dad cheated on his mom when he was 3. His dad left. There was like a long custody battle. They both had drug use. And he started pot at 13. And then he got hooked on heroin at 16. Every day he was just, strung out on something. And I'm like, wow. And, he said it was so bad that he stole her wedding ring. He stole things just to get the drugs. And he's very lucky to be alive. He says that he went to rehab multiple times. And he said the last time that he was in rehab, he remembers telling himself, I will do whatever they tell me to do. I will follow it and I will do it just so I can stay clean. And even when he got out, he just kept doing whatever regimen that they told him to do at the rehab. At this point, Marjorie is looking at him like either of two things. Like she's so proud of him. I was like, oh, I could eat you up right now. Like she just, she was beaming as she looked at him. And at the same time, I'm thinking, I cannot believe that she knows this about her husband, that he's a recovering drug addict, and she's questioning why he's structured.
Yep. And he said the rigidity keeps him sober. And for you to and I cannot believe this is the first time she's heard this. And I cannot believe it's the first time that he's told her this. And for her to go, your rigidity keeps you sober, but I'm going to cause chaos because I don't care is wild.
I can't believe it. That's what I was saying. I know this is not the first time. So you know this about your husband and you're still challenging him. Like you can't support in any way. And I mean, but on the flip side, it's that part where people go find, they say you date your parent, right? So maybe his mom was just so chaotic and he got someone who's chaotic. She's all loosey-goosey. She has to have any animal in the house. She wants to drive 80 miles. Like there's no structure to her. And wow, but even if, like, there should just be some leeway to understanding that this is a battle he's going to fight for the rest of his life, and you should want to support your partner.
Which is why it doesn't make any sense when he said, I want to clean it on Tuesday at 7. And she's like, why does it have to be so rigid? Because he needs the rigidity, you crazy person. Is it really that hard for your partner to say, I need this? And you go, okay, it's a challenge for me, but I'll set an alarm and I'll do it at 7. Like all of the things that he's got to do to keep himself sober and keep himself in this relationship. And you can't set an alarm for something that he doesn't even want to do. He didn't care about this damn cat. He's told you he didn't care about this damn cat, but he's willing to do it for you.
Yeah.
Oh, Team Jason.
And then he says, like, for you, you think I'm being rigid, but for me, it's life or death. And if I don't do it this way, I could die. And that's how he sees it. So for you, it's just a way of life. Like, if I don't do it, if I do it, I'm okay. But for him, if he strays from his schedule, it's a big deal. So I don't know. Ona tells her, that's good information for you. She goes, I know. She says she understands. She gets it. And the thing is, what works for him doesn't work for her. And he's like, well, that could kill me. So, I mean, I don't think it's fair to hold it over her head. At the end of the day, she is who she is. And you made the choice to get into a relationship with a chaotic person. Okay. So I don't think every little thing you should be like, well, I'm going to die if you don't do it this way. But they have to meet in the middle.
Team Jason. She also, with her chaos, chose somebody extremely rigid. So, but he's not rigid because it's weird. He's rigid because it's life-saving. And what he said is, what you do will kill me. And I think I don't know if it's dramatic. And I think he's trying to tell her, I need this stuff from you. I'm putting up with X, Y, and Z for you. And you're doing nothing in return. I'm so curious. And I want Orna to ask, like, what do you guys like about each other? Like, what keeps you together? I don't get it.
The only reason why I'm saying, like, he shouldn't hold it over her head also, but it's like the three major examples that we've heard, he's making the choice because it makes their life better. So, like, in the kitty litter, what does it hurt to clean it out every day? Why do you want it sitting there? That makes sense to me. For him to take his bed out, I don't know. I think it's pretty valid if you don't want a wet spot or a dog drool over there and all that. It's a lot of work, but it doesn't sound crazy. And then when he's like, why are we driving 80 miles one way to drop your kid at school? It doesn't sound crazy. So the things that he's asking for are things that will make their life better. And she seems to be doing things. So yes, she married someone regimented, but like if he's being like strict, like I get it. Like when he said, it doesn't have to be 7 p.m. like on your day. I think that's meeting in the middle. Like whatever your day is, whatever time you want to do it, that's fine. He shouldn't have to dictate what time she's going to do it on a Tuesday. So that's fine. But all the other examples to me, saving you, waking up whatever early and saving gas and doing all that, it makes sense to me. So that's what I mean by the parts that he's chosen to be rigid have been things that are helpful to them. But at the same time, he also voted for Trump. So let's not forget.
I forgot about that part.
Let's not forget about that.
Damn you, Jason.
So Honor says, okay, let's start with this. Let's meet in the middle and then let's see what happens. And then we get a glimpse of them in their home full of animals. It's so crazy. A lot of these people seem to live outside the city because every time I see the homes and stuff, I'm like, surely you are not in the city of New York.
Yeah, they're like, we're in upstate New York. We just real long to come see
travel all the way for this. Yeah, so it's chaos. There's just like dogs everywhere, and then the cat comes out. So
and kids on top of that, and Marjorie's crazy ass on top. There's a lot going on at their house. I would tattoo my head too.
Okay, so finally, Nessa and Drea. Oh my God, this is so sad. This couple is so sad because one person is out. I don't know why she's here, but you know, all the best. Anyways, Nessa says like, you know, they're best friends and she doesn't focus on the part that is dissatisfying until the romantic part. And she's like, nah. I'm like, oh my God, can you say something nice about this woman? Like what? And then Orna is like, when you say romantic part, do you mean sexual? And she goes, yes, I mean sexual. And honestly, I am not in a desiring mood. She's like, for the longest time in their relationship, it was one-sided. That Drea was basically a pillow princess, and I was the only one that was serving. And then they went through a time where Drea did not want anything to do with her at all, and she went without for a year. Then Drea turned 40 and found her confidence and her sexual prowess, and now she's like ravenous, and she's in her head about it. And Drea says she understands that it's hard to have those things and be intimate, but, comma, where are you putting those things when you, and I quote, letting me eat your pussy?
Yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot.
And I'm sure Orna was like, "Oh dear God!" Ooh.
She hit it well. She hit it well. She
and Nessa was like, "Well, I'm thinking, am I leading her on?" I said, "Excuse me, leading her on because you're planning to break up? How do you lead your wife on while she's eating your?" Sorry, guys. Pussy. What the?
Tana's on one today.
No, it's just, I couldn't believe it, because remember last episode, we were just like, those are some harsh words to hear from your partner. Like you said, what is the drive home like? How do you say things like that and look at them the same? And then we come back, and Drea is it almost feels like Nessa wants to use this therapy to push her away so that Drea can be like, you know what? You hate me, I'm done. But people that try to do that always have partners that are like, I don't care what you do. I'm with you till the end of time and the next life.
Yep.
So
I feel like Nessa's auditioning for her next partner, where she's putting out like, I want a driver, I want this, and but I initiate, and I did it. You know what I mean? It feels like she's putting out there. We ask, why is Nessa even on the show? I think because she's auditioning her next partner, and she's letting the person know, I'm going to be driven, and don't worry, you can be a pillow princess, I'll take care of you, and I want this. It doesn't, Nessa's not here to repair anything.
Yeah, she's here to break up with her. I just think she needs it with a professional way. She's kind of hoping that Drea would be like, if you don't want me, why would I be here anyway? So let me go, while also getting help with a professional to help her with the broken heart. So she thinks she's doing a good thing, because everything she says is insane. So she's like, it's not like I can bring it up, because if I bring it up, she does bunny ears, I'm killing the moment. And Drea's like, you don't need to do bunny ears, you are killing the moment. But to me, Drea at this point is still very calm. My significant other saying all these things is like, how long have you carried this? Like, is this what you think of me when you look at me? That's crazy. So I want to ask Nessa, like, what response would you give Drea? What response could Drea give to feel like there's space to talk? And she's just like, well, I would like us to refrain from intimacy. I'm like, no, Nessa. That is not the answer. Oh, God. That is not even what they asked. Well, so Andrea says Nessa is being ridiculous. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, why can't I be intimate with my wife? And Honor has to stop her, because she is now going to 100. She rolls her eyes, and Honor is just like, listen, we can zing all we want, we can be cynical, but it's not going to go anywhere. And Honor was like, okay, so where does that leave you? And Nessa is like, I don't have anything. No, Drea is like, I have nothing to say about where that leaves me. But you can see she's having that. She's bouncing her leg, that anxiety leg bounce. And she's just like, this is so upsetting. And Drea says, listen, I love her. I love Nessa. I love being married to her. The best parts of my life and every good experience has been with her. Like, she is the best person that I picked to do life with, to have a child with. And all I'm hearing is like, she's ready to be done with me. Oh.
So she knows. And that's the worst part. It's not like she doesn't know. She knows.
Yeah, but it's still tough.
I know. And I think to some degree, she put that out there, and I think she was kind of waiting for Nessa to say something similar back. And Nessa was like, that's cool.
Yeah, Nessa at least pats her back this time. And she, Drea is just like, I'm a good wife, and somebody will be happy to have me. And Nessa's like, yeah, that's true. And she's like, Drea's like, I just wish it was this person. And the thing is, everything she says, like, every experience I've had, she's been part of a first of everything I've done that has been with her, has been with Nessa. I think Nessa sees all of that as a negative, where she's seeing that as nostalgic and loving, and Nessa is just seeing it as like, that is the problem. We've done everything together, and I feel like we both need a world beyond me. You are too attached to me. So Nessa thinks she's saying something sweet and is hoping to like remind her of all the things they have. But I think Drea, and I think she's reminding Nessa that, yeah, we got to cut the cord. Like she has me as a blankie now, and she just wants to be with me all the time, and I don't want it anymore.
It's interesting because you would think that that's the goal of a partnership. You would think that that's the goal, that I've married my best friend, that I'm sharing like all the best moments that I've had is with this person. Like, isn't that the goal of relationship? But it seems to be a negative for Nessa. And to
Yeah.
your point is that she's done kind of being the teacher. She's the same way Shay's done being the teacher. Nessa's done being the teacher. Like, it was cool when they were in their 20s,
Yeah.
but she doesn't want to be a teacher anymore. And I guess to her credit, if we've got to give her any little credit, is she's told Drea that. But that's just not who Drea is. So she can't fundamentally change who she is now to be who you want her to be now. And so I don't see a resolution to this. And cameras in that car ride home, because this has to be so awkward.
Yeah. I do find it like, the juxtaposition of, a hetero relationship and, a lesbian relationship. It's that two wives who are saying, I thought I was a good wife. I was doing everything that they needed. I am open to everything. And it's just not enough, So we see them at home, I don't know, having dinner or lunch. We do not see the kid, but Nessa does do a sign of the cross. And I'm like, oh, are they Catholic? Is she Catholic? Like, what's going on? But also, I just want to point out, guys, I was also so wrong. I was so sure that Drea was the one who carried their kid, and it was Nessa.
That was a surprise. When I saw that photo, I was like, oh, hey girl, hey.
Yes.
So not as conventional, not as conventionally unconventional as we thought. But yeah,
yes,
that was a surprise.
And so, like, just going a little deeper, I don't think that's the case, hoping that all the right paperwork is done, because technically Nessa is the mother, right? Biologically.
But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm sure the birth certificate has both of their names on it. So
yes, I'm just saying, like, because you never know with human beings how nasty they get with divorce, and the way she's being so cold. I'm just also wondering if that's also a fear for Drea, because remember the first episode, she said, "What's the difference if we break up now?" And she goes, "We have a child." So this is just worst case scenario. I don't think that's the case. I never know. But also, when you hear of all these custody battles and all of the things, you never know. With all the fights and all the things that happen with people,
The way Nessa's rolling right now, I think if it came down to it, she would probably leave the kid with Drea. The way she's ready to be done and out and bounce and start her new life and be this driver, if that came down to it, I don't know if I don't know this person from Adam, but what she's giving right now is, I'm ready to cut ties and start over. I'm ready to move to a new place and start a new family and a new life. And it happens all the time where people break up and the kids are like, what kids? I didn't have any kids. I have a new family now. It happens.
Oh no, whenever all these things happen, I am team kid. So I'm just going to take it back from the universe, and that is not going to be the case. If they do split up, they will share custody. They will both be loving parents and be good co-parents, even if they hate each other, and everything will be a-okay in the kids' world.
I mean, okay? It's not my hope that happens.
I know. I'm just throwing it in the universe.
I wouldn't be surprised if it did, but you're a good person, and I've got a cold dark heart.
Okay, well, that's it for this episode. Do you have any last thoughts?
I want it to be kind of like a reality dating show where sometimes I want to mix up the couples and find people who are better for each other. I would love to see Sienna and Jason together, but not really, because Jason's a bad guy supporter. So I keep forgetting that about him. But yeah,
I don't know. I would not match any of the couples on couples therapy with anyone. Just go ye forth and be free, okay?
Start your podcast, do that. Sell your flat tummy tea, do whatever you have to do.
Okay, well, thanks, Jen. It's been fun.
Of course, of course.
Guys, you know where to find me. Also call MAFS. Please give me a 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And send me a comments. Tell me what you think. What do you think about all these couples? Do you think anyone will last? Well, they usually do. I don't know why I'm saying that. Sometimes they do, and I'm like, how? What's going on? But until next time, guys, we'll be back with episode 3. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.